What it do? I want to speak about something. Welcome to Inspire. I want to talk about something that is not touched upon for artists, and it's a conversation that nobody has with you when you are a young artist, and it's a conversation that nobody has with you because nobody's there anymore when you become an older artist, and it's how to get old in music. Let me start with this. There is a saying that I don't know if I heard it somewhere or if I made it up. You are new only one time. Let it sink in. Think about it. You are new only one time. When you meet your girlfriend for the first time, she's new that time. When you kiss for the first time, that's the first time. After that, it's always going to be the second time. After 5 years, it's gonna be 500 times. And it's the same thing for the first time you have your car. It's like, oh my God, nobody can touch it. It has to be clean, etc., etc. And once you had it for 5 years, it's just your car. There's food here. There's whatever. You don't care that much. You still take care of it, but you don't see it the same way as when you were obsessed with it when you were looking at it in the magazine. And I think for an artist, it's the same thing. I've been performing since 1992. That's the first time I hold a microphone in front of people in a club and I perform. 1992. Some of you were not even born. And between now and 1992, a lot of years have passed. So I learned something, is that every time I go to a new country, that's when I'm going to be new. The first time these people will see me live, this is going to be probably one of the best shows for them and for me in this particular city or country. Why? Because it's going to be the first time they see you, so the excitation is the excitation of the first time. And what is not explained to a lot of artists is that it's not that this love that people have for you disappears. It's just that over the years, it transforms into a respect. To give you an example, I have some fans that have been with me since the release of my first album in '98. So that was 22 years ago. Some people even remember me performing in Congo in the 90s, or in France back in 92, 93, in Belgium, in Holland at Mondial. Some people have been with me from all this time. And some people used to rock my t-shirts, scream and cry every time I would be on stage here in Portugal and all that. And the same people, when I meet them today, they're still happy to see me, but it's different because the love transformed into, I would say the fandom and craziness transformed into love and respect. You have to understand one thing. When you are young, when you are 20 years old and you're here performing, your fans are between 15 and 20. So they are in their years where they go crazy about these things, and they will come and oh my God, they want to touch you, they want to rip your shirt, etc., etc. Been there. When you are 30 years old, the same fans are now between 25 and 30. And now most of them are starting to have a job to care about, boyfriends, girlfriends, kids. The love they have for you, the artist, is now divided with things that they care more about. When you are 40, your fans are now between 35 and 40 and more. And you enter a different territory. All these people, they are not fanatics anymore, but they have a lot of respect for you because they remember what all your songs meant to them growing up. And a lot of them don't have the time anymore to go see you perform every week. They will come if you have a special show, something, they will come out. But most of them, sometimes they're in another country, sometimes they are just doing something else, sometimes they're too busy, sometimes they have kids, grandkids. Life goes on. I think the big problem in the music industry is that we lure people in the celebrity status. Look how great it is. You will go in the clubs for free. You will have all the women. everybody will be loving you, etc., etc. So we put them in the worst drug of ever, which is fame, and then we don't explain to them how fame can finish. You can be super famous for 1 year, 1 month, 6 months, 10 years, 20 years, and then go back to being forgotten. And it's very hard for some people to navigate that because they are in a world where there's so many ass lickers, people who will pretend to you that you are the best, your fame will be forever. And why? Because they are trying to sell something. They are trying to sell your image to perform. So they're making money from you. So they will not tell you things like that. But actually, I think a good manager or a good producer or a good friend is somebody who's supposed to be here to remind you that this can be over one day. You know, like I remember performing 2 times a week, sometimes 3. It was a hell of a ride. It was like I was tired. I remember one day I went to an island called La Réunion, and the island is round, and we had like 10 clubs to do in 2 days. And it would be like performing here, soon as I'm done, performing there, soon as I'm done, performing there, etc. And the next day, same thing, and the Sunday, same thing. It was hardcore, but yeah, arriving straight in Paris, I would have to take the plane again to go perform in New York, and then straight again after performing. I would not even have time to do anything. Take another plane, go back to Paris, take another plane, go to Ivory Coast, perform, then go back, and then go to the West Indies. Like, those were amazing times. It was a ton of money was made, but damn, I was tired. Today I make a show maybe every 3 months, and it's completely different. But I think the big difference with me and a lot of people that I grew up with in the music industry is that back in 2003, when I made one of my biggest hits, which is Kaysha, I released Sumia's album, which was a hit. I released Elisio's album, which was a hit. And I released Abeje's album, was a hit. And I also released Tia's album. And I went on to build something different. And early on, while I was at the top of my career as a performer, I realized that I was making a ton of money being a producer, selling beats to other people, making the beats of all these aforementioned albums. And then I realized, oh, wait, now if this finishes, this is an interesting business to get in. By the time I stopped making less and less show, why? Not because people stopped loving me, just because I was not new anymore everywhere I went. I probably perform in Portugal 50 times. I live here and I don't perform anymore. Not because people don't love me, it's just because, yeah, I've been everywhere 10 times. France is the same thing. I've been in every city 20 times. The US, I've been there. I'm not saying that I'm not going to perform anymore. I'm just saying that instead of being frustrated by what's going on, I understand too that when you are 45, 46, the people in the club are 20 years old. And there's 2 generations of artists that came after you, and they are taking the space. And it's completely normal. What is not normal is making an artist believe that after him there will be none, that nobody will ever take his spot, that he will be number one forever. And this makes people become very fragile mentally because they live for the number one spot. They live for the drug that is fame, when you should actually live for the moment, the sentiments, the love you receive, the love you give, the art that you are leaving to the world, and what you are building for after. You don't stop building when it's done. You have to start building when you're in the middle of it. That's when you have to think about the future. In 2007, I asked myself a question. In 2007, I was performing everywhere. I remember I was in Mozambique with my manager, and I was telling her, let's not sit down and enjoy our laurels. we have to think about the future. What are we going to do in 2017? And today I'm thinking, what am I going to do in 2030? I made a successful transition from being an artist, performer, solo, to becoming a mogul, launching other people's career, to writing for other people, composing for other people, beat making for other people, having my own catalog, building a legacy for the future, that the money I used to make performing, I'll make it twice more today from other things. And today I'm in tomorrow now, of my tomorrow of 2007. All the opportunities that I have now from what I made yesterday, I'm using them today for tomorrow. It's just thinking long term all the time. Anybody who's 20 years old today should take that lesson, enjoy what they have now, but never act like if they will never reach 40 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old. And they have to think about, what am I gonna do today so that I'm comfortable tomorrow? Yeah, I really think that in conclusion, I could go on and on and on about that, but I mean, the sad part about this is nobody teaches you how to grow old. It is very important that you always think about the future. Realize that when fewer people start going to your shows, it doesn't mean that you are a lesser person. It just means that this part of your life is moving on from you, and you have to move on from it too. Make a step towards the next thing. If not, you will end up being frustrated and angry, like a lot of people that I used to know back then. And they're pissed. And I'm like, bro, told you. Anyway, I hope you like this episode of Inspire. Make sure that you put a like, a comment. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet. T-shirt by Shadawear. Don't hesitate to ask your questions down below. And I hope to keep inspiring you for the years to come. Bless.